Ever notice how some people don't even mention their birthday? No reminder, no plans. Sometimes they even forget it themselves. And if that's you, here's the uncomfortable question. What if it's not because you don't care, but because caring once backfired? Most people don't realize when this pattern actually starts. It doesn't stay about birthdays either. It shows up in how much attention you let yourself have, how quickly you pull back before getting disappointed. So before you label yourself as low-key, ask this. What if treating your birthday like nothing is quietly teaching people how little space you expect to be given? People who avoid their birthday almost always say, "I just don't like attention." But if you look closer, it's not attention they're dodging, it's the pressure that comes with it. Being seen means reacting the right way, smiling on cue, not letting anyone down. So you keep things small. You joke it off. You change the subject when something good happens. You tell people it's no big deal, even when it kind of is. It feels safer that way. But here's the quiet risk. When you practice shrinking moments like this, it doesn't stay about birthdays. It slowly teaches you to shrink yourself everywhere else too. For a lot of people, skipping their birthday isn't about being low-key, it's about not wanting to feel let down. Birthdays create hope, even when you pretend they don't. Someone remembers, someone shows up. And when that doesn't happen, it hits deeper than most people admit. So the mind learns a shortcut. Expect nothing, feel nothing. Keep the day quiet and everything stays calm, numb, manageable. But here's what sneaks up on you. This habit doesn't stay on one date of the year. If you've ever told yourself it's easier this way, notice where else you've stopped expecting. Because protecting yourself from disappointment can quietly turn into protecting yourself from connection. For some people, skipping their birthday feels less like avoidance and more like independence. It's a quiet way of saying, "I don't need anyone for this." And honestly, that can feel powerful, controlled, self-sufficient. But look closer. That independence usually didn't start as confidence. It started with learning not to rely on people emotionally. So you stop giving others the chance to show up. You don't mention the day. You buy something small for yourself and keep it moving. Everything stays contained, predictable. But here's the part most people miss. When independence turns into distance, you don't just avoid disappointment, you also avoid being surprised by connection. Even when people say birthdays don't matter, they still do something quietly uncomfortable. They mark time. Another year older, another mental check-in you didn't ask for. It's not always fear of aging, it's comparison. Am I where I thought I'd be? Did I waste time? So instead of sitting with that, some people treat the day like a normal workday. Stay busy, ignore the messages, keep it moving. If it feels small, the pressure feels smaller too. But those questions don't disappear, they just go quiet. And that's why this vague sense of being behind tends to show up later when you least expect it. Here's the part most people get wrong about this. Skipping your birthday doesn't mean you're cold, boring, or emotionally checked out. It's usually the opposite. People who do this tend to be observant, self-aware, and deeply internal. They feel things, they just don't like performing them. They're the kind of people who replay moments, notice who shows up, and hesitate before getting excited. From the outside, that depth can look like distance, but inside, there's a lot going on. The important thing to notice isn't whether this makes you bad or broken, it's whether disappearing has become your default even when you don't actually want to. So if any of this feels uncomfortably accurate, here's the takeaway. This isn't about forcing yourself to celebrate or suddenly care more. It's about noticing patterns, noticing when you make yourself smaller before anyone asks you to, noticing when staying quiet feels easier than risking being seen. Birthdays just happen to reveal this because they ask one simple question: will you let yourself take up space today? You don't owe anyone a performance, but you do owe yourself honesty. And maybe, just maybe, the goal isn't to make the day bigger, it's to stop disappearing on it.